and one that we really want to do is a workshop on making your content accessible to people with disabilities like vision impairments and hearing impairments. It's a very big audience out there, people with different disabilities who aren't necessarily catered for. So it's a great opportunity for content creators to grow their audience that way, but it's also, I think it's important that we also think about how we can tailor make our content for as many people as possible and be inclusive about that. So that's a workshop that we want to run. And then we're going to kick off the festival on the Thursday night, so the 9th of July, where we do a spotlight of 20 series that didn't quite make the cut for the official selection, but that we still want to screen as part of the program. So that will be in a different venue. It'll probably be in a bar with a screening room, but that's sort of to get everyone who's involved in the festival together. We'll watch some great web series that just didn't make the official selection cut, but you know, we want to provide them a platform to show their content and talk about it as well. So that's what we're looking forward to this year. We're trying to do some other fun things that we haven't been able to get through yet, like a pitching competition. We just need someone to commit to some finances to a prize there, so they can put those ideas into realization. But that's what we're working on.
You mentioned Kathy Farmineta, if you guys don't know, she's one of our board members of the LA Webfest. And Kathy, when people talk about the festival and how we went international, Kathy Farmineta plays a big role in that, because LA Webfest in the first year was just, we had a show from Mexico and we had a show from Canada. Because we didn't know, I didn't know web series was being made outside of the United States, really outside of New York or LA. And then Kathy sent me an email after my festival and said, hey, there's this guy in France that I know that's trying to do this in France. Will you talk to him? I said, sure, I'll talk to him. You say he's your friend. And that was, that became an email back and forth for 1 year between me and Jean-Michel Albert in Marseille. And that was, which led to the formation of the Melbourne Webfest. Me sending him letters, like I sent you letters to this minister, that person, you know, will you come to Melbourne? Can we come to LA and observe for 1 year? And then they came to LA. We never met, we never spoke on the phone. But Kathy Farmineta, I really, people give me a lot of credit, but I have to give credit to people that have helped me. And I said it last night, Kathy's one of those people that took LA Webfest from a US-based festival to an international festival. But it started with Kathy, and that's why you know, she's the connector. I call her Kathy the connector. And we met at I did a workshop. God, how long was that, Matt?
2003.
Yeah, a friend of mine got a job writing for a show, and he needed somebody to go to Fresno to do
Cal Summer Arts.
Summer Arts.
Yeah.
That he committed to, but he couldn't go to because he got a writing job. So he asked me if I would go in his place, so I went. I think it was a week, right?
Yeah,
It's like a week?
my friend Pam Wallace and I did week 1, and Michael did week 2, and that weekend in between kind of overlapped, and we got a chance to meet, and it was sort of like we kept in touch off and on and everything. And then when I went to do my second edition of my book, I found out that Michael had been doing web series. I thought, damn, I got to include that in my book. So he helped me a great deal on that, and it's funny because that's the importance of the networking thing. And one of these days, I'm going to probably be doing a workshop on networking, because it is that important. And you guys already are starting to do that just by coming here, but when it's important to do it when you leave here too. And that's how you heard some of the people how they managed to get funding by networking, by getting locations and clothing and makeup, you know, things like that, just because somebody knew somebody and they were able to make that connection. So, you know, I hope that you guys continue to do that, because networking is something that will eventually become sort of natural, more organic to you. Young is a born networker. Steiner was not. You were so quiet when I first met you. He was just sitting there at his computer, and he was emailing people back and forth, letting them know what he was doing there, and he was showing, he had little clips and stuff, and excitement in his face, and I have to say, Steinar, you've really grown. I was so proud of you. You got up there, you were giving all this speech and everything, and it was like before, I could hardly get you to say 2 words.
So Kathy, again, she's, I think, you know, the longer this thing plays out, the more you see people who play key roles. But Kathy, to me, when it comes to the history of web series, how it went international, to me, Kathy Fongineda is going to be a name that is very important to that, because it's, to me, without Kathy, Jean-Michel doesn't get to me. We don't connect. Without her, I don't know him, and because I know him, that was the beginning of the going from one country to the other. Young, I'm gonna let Young introduce himself, and Young and I, he was in the festival last year, but I met Young. People invite me to come see web series screenings all the time. I never go. I rarely have time to go, but I've only gone one time to a screening. Or twice. I went recently, I went once about 4 years ago, and it was his screen. I didn't know him, he sent me an invitation to see his show. It was a Korean web series, and then I thought to myself, wow, they're making web series in Korea too? That's what I thought, like, wow, I didn't know that. So I went because I had to see this for myself. And we barely talked, but I didn't really see. I saw his show, it was sponsored by Kimchi, the Kimchi product. The person was there from Kimchi. She spoke about the family and how they got involved in the web series. I just watched it. It was in Hollywood Bush Boulevard, and we didn't even really talk that day. But yeah, Young has a friend who I was talking to. She was the connection, and then I didn't see him for a couple of years until last year. He was in the festival, and then after the festival ended, Young said, "Hey man, can we go to? I'm still in town. Can we go to dinner?" And so he took me to dinner. Me and Tammy went to dinner.
Yeah, the BC.
Yes.
That's the same
BCB
restaurant.
Tofu House, which I never heard of. So, and he said he was interested in doing a festival in Korea. And what do you think? And I said, I think it's a great idea. And then 6 months later, he was actually doing it. Like he said, hey, guess what? It's happening, you know. But Young, so now it's happening. It's real. And Young, I want you to talk about Rio Webfest. It's coming up. Did you tell us when your festival's happening? Can you tell them when your festival?
Oh yeah, it's from the 10th to the 12th of July.
July.
Yeah, or
And Melbourne's
9th
right
now.
after, yeah.
9th now.
And it's a beautiful, Melbourne is a beautiful place. When I was there, I really enjoyed it. Beautiful. I like the weather, I love the people, and everything. Young, talk about your festival, when it's coming up, what we can expect. I know he has something, if you haven't seen this, I'm gonna pass it around. This is where his festival is being held. Pass that around. Talk about it. Go ahead, Young.
Yeah.
I know.
6-star.
Now we just have to work with the airlines if we're in Australia to work how to deal with the airlines to come through Korea on the way back.
Yeah, I'm just like filmmaker, right? I just produce, direct, you know, and I have no idea. I never run any festival, so in the beginning, like I don't know if I can do it or not. But I got really fascinating, especially like the web series doing LA Webfest. So, like you guys mentioned, right, about the connection, you know. I mean, it's a connection make a miracle, you know. Also make another connection. It's like a multiple, you know. So last year, I'm the only one Asian guy, entire like thousands grand ballroom, right, all the ceremony, and I look around and there's no Korean, no Asians. I'm the only guy. Whoa, so that makes me, okay, I gotta do something. I'm gonna be pioneer, you know, in Korea. Then, and KWebfest-KOREA, right? And I try to talk to people, but, you know, they don't know. I mean, oh, what is the web series? Actually, they call web drama, which means they make kind of like a drama, but short piece. You know, because Samsung and LG, right, very big business there, so they need a content. They're really good hardware system, but they need some content, right? So in the beginning, very tough, and then actually all the founders, great help. Also Pamela, also everyone, right? You guys sent me, actually sent to Prime Minister directly email, like reference letter. He got shocked, like not only one, he thought like, okay, 1 or 2 maybe he can get, but eventually total nine like reference letter. Amazing.
From Melbourne,
Yeah.
France, from Jean-Michel,
Yeah.
from Rome.
Yeah, also Pamela, also like Kathy, like, yeah.
Carol.
Yeah, and then Prime Minister was shocked. Oh my God, this one's really serious.
And then he's going, who the hell are you?
And then actually, the government process kind of slow. So government is gonna give us money, probably big money next year. But this year they help us introduce other corporation entities.
Good.
That means even the corporation gonna help me because the logo with the Korean government logo, even just the logo is a help. But the government process usually like they set up the budget like 2 years before, something like that. I'm kind of too late to get funded this year. That's why in the beginning I'm very like tough, but I promise you, right, guys? That's what I have to do. So I was like crazy looking for first approach is a product placement and a cosmetic company. I give out some few gifts actually in front of them. And then I talked to them and you know, here is the web series. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be huge soon, right? And then actually first check give me cash, $10,000, you know. They don't say anything, just trust me, and so that's why we couldn't, you know, start. Like we could start, and then right after that, go to hotel. And then the hotel manager, you know, they said, sure, it's gonna be great. I mean, that hotel, like a lot of Chinese tourists coming, but there is not many people from America, from Europe. But now I, you know, told them it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great exposure. The already great exposure. You know what? I sent 50 photos to them. They are really happy. I think they can give us more discount.
Talk about what's the discount?
Right
You
now,
gotta hear the discount. It's
yeah.
incredible.
Right now it's like just like that amazing room.
Right.
Just like around like $100.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So now, would the airlines work into the deal at all? Like,
Right now I'm dealing with actually there's two major airlines.
Right.
One is a Korean airline,
Right.
the other Asiana.
Right. So if we were to go to Australia, like an Australian return is a certain amount of money. When you're returning, if they would allow the stop off to Korea and back, maybe even the Korean government might get into it, because then that's money spent in Korea and they might facilitate so the fare is the same as going to Australia to do the return through Korea and stop for the few days. I don't know if the Korean government would be into it, but it brings
No,
money.
airline company is not government involved. It's the like corporation companies. So
Yeah, but would
So
it,
talk a little bit more about the festival itself. What can we expect from KWebfest?
huh?
First of all, like we have already 75 web series. So actually they are surprised. They saw the titles and from all over the world. And in the beginning, I talked to them and they don't believe me. How you get like 75 web series? There is no way to get, right? But trust me, then finally show them and they proudly believe me. So then 30 or 40 web series from Korea. Actually, that one we're gonna do a contest. One company wanna do a sponsor only for the contest. That means we can do a prize award, like cash prize, like maybe number one 5,000 maybe, or 2,000 or something like that. So I'm working with the sponsor with the cash prize, and that way more draw, right? The submission. So maybe Korean web series about 30, and also I'm working talk with the Chinese probably like 5 web series from China. Actually, China is like a major corporation company made a web series already. So I talked to them; they're really interested. Also, right now, China, Korea, they really get along. I mean, many projects like co-production, especially Korean actor is very hot in Asia because of Korean drama. So with whoever comes to be the Korean actor, then 100% of money Chinese people invest. Very simple. So that way they have their own channel, like their own like YouTube channel kind of stuff. So
Vicky? Is that Vicky? Not Cookie?
on Yoku.
Oh, Yoko.
Yeah.
The YouTube of Asia.
Yeah, YouTube cannot get into China because the Chinese government, with the Google, they're not get along with, because Google want to control and then Chinese they don't want to get.
And they have
control.
this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
iChewy.
Oh yeah, that was a part of. I mean, there's a few very popular
YouTube channel.
kind of like the video channel, and there's a lot of views.
It's bigger.
I mean,
actually.
so many people, right?
Bigger
Like
than-
billion, like so many Asian.
Yeah, like Larry Namer, who was there last night, Larry talked about how he planted homebodies that he did last year. They debuted it right before the LA Webfest, and in 1 month, the show got 7 million views, and it had it's up to 50
Wasn't it 50
Yeah.
million views?
50 million, it's up to 50 million views.
Yeah, that's it.
Just, I mean,
Wow.
Yeah, that's
incredible, 50 million views for a show.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Because so many people, and that's just a tip. I mean, there's 1.2 billion people, and that's
Wow.
so you can see the potential.
Yeah.
So Young's, when is your festival happening, Young? When is it?
July 30 and 31st.
So you'll come about 2 weeks after Steinar.
Yeah, right after that.
Yeah. Leandro, talk about, this is a new entry to the web. Leandro and I met a few months ago last year. Talk about your festival. Very talented creator. He has a wonderful show in the festival called Apostle do Sexo, the opposite sex. In Portuguese is what it means. So then he revealed to me recently that he's going to do a festival in Rio. I worked in Rio de Janeiro about 12 years ago, created a TV show there 10 years ago. American sitcom that ran 2005. And I love Rio. I've been down there a couple of times. Beautiful. Brazil's a beautiful country. Rio's a beautiful city. And the people are just amazing. So talk about your festival, how it came about, and what we can expect from Rio Webfest.
Okay, yes. As I said in my panel, Brazil is a really big country. It's like the 5th biggest country in the world. We have like 200 million citizens, so about the size of the US, and there's not enough space for everyone. So YouTube turned out to be everything we can't put on TV. You have YouTube, you have social platforms, and it's like a escape zone for all the creative content we have in Rio. So as soon as I submitted my series to LA Webfest, we got accepted, and we were all cheering. And I said to my editor, we should do a festival here in Rio, because we need to integrate. It's just like Korea. We need to integrate Brazil actually with the rest of the world, because we speak Brazilian Portuguese, and no one speaks Portuguese except Portugal and some small countries in Africa. And in Brazil, there's so much creative content. There's so many vloggers and web series, and no one heard of. I asked Mike how many submissions you got from Brazil.
For Brazil, in LA Webfest 5 years, we probably have received less than 10 shows from Brazil, maybe 8 out of over 1,500 shows, probably 1,800 shows, 8 out of 1,800.
So that's a ridiculous amount, because, for example, we have a show there. It's called Porta dos Fundos, it's like Backdoor, which is one of the 10 biggest YouTube channels of the world. They have like 9 million subscribers, and no one here ever heard of them. All right. So I think Rio Webfest is a essential piece that could integrate all this content with the States. And the thing is, in Rio, everyone doesn't talk English, but everyone understands. So if you go to Rio and you speak English, people will always try to understand what you're saying. They will always try to help you, because everyone's really friendly, and most of them are actually speak English as I do. And I think what we're doing here is historical, because as soon as I get home and I tell them what's going on here, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lot of Brazilian submissions next year, man. Get ready, get ready for a Brazilian invasion, because our country is eager to show, to shine and to be recognized. And the competition is so ferocious in Brazil. For everything is so hard. for you to earn money with art, really, there's so many artists and there's so many competition and there's not enough space, and the media is controlled by like 3 or 4 big television companies, and they control the whole media. It's insane.
Like almost like a monopoly.
It's a monopoly, like the main media television there is called Global. Global, yeah. And Global is like has like a 60 or 70% of the audience of the whole country.
Yeah, the show we did in Rio was on a 5th network called the Record Network.
Record.
Record to that?
Yes.
And it was, one of the challenges of the show was getting exposure, because it was the 5th network, and it was just, we couldn't get a big enough audience because we were on this very small channel. But, and I kept hearing about that, but it's who doesn't want to go to Rio? If you've never been to Rio, it's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful city. Beautiful city. I mean, the beach is incredible. People are always, you know, just, I remember my first day in Baja Rio. We were at the Sheraton. We dropped our bags off, me and another writer named Bentley Evans and an actress named Debbie Allen. And we left our bags. We went across the street. The sand was white. We walked to the water. The water was blue, and you can see the ocean, like the ocean. I could see into the ground. And we walked out. I mean, it was incredible. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people. And again, that's I think that's one of the things about a festival. Also, you're also selling the city.
Exactly.
You're selling Marseille. Marseille is like LA. I mean, it's in south of France. And Melbourne, you know, has a beautiful look and a beautiful location. And Seoul, which I've never been to Seoul, but based on what I know through Young, I mean, Seoul is a beautiful city that everyone may not know, and they need to know. So it becomes almost like, and same with LA, the tourism factor of coming to Los Angeles and being next door to Universal Studios, and being able to go to Hollywood and that kind of stuff. So we're also selling our cities. Talk about with Rio Webfest. I love what you said about taking these artists that don't have enough space on television and film and getting them out there so people know about them. When is your festival? When do you plan to do Rio Webfest?
Well, we just got the idea before about a month before we come here. I was actually hoping to start Rio after LAWEBFest, because I was going to come here and learn from Mike and how the organization happens, how are the panels and everything. But when I told him, I said, you think I should wait or just release it or wait? So I released it before, so I decided to release it here. And so our dates, I pushed the dates as far as I could. So we're happening in November. We don't have a specific date yet. But we do have a location, me and my wife, Maíra, we live by the harbor. It's a zone that's being revitalized because of the Olympics. It's a strategic political, it's all being renovated, everything's new. And they're gonna have a Guggenheim there. There's a new museum of art there, it's called Museum of the Art of Rio, it's called MARC. And it's a very trendy space that people don't actually heard of, because everyone hears about the Sugarloaf and the Cristo Redentor. This is like the most popular places, but this area in downtown is right next to the heart of the city.